Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sharing something incredibly personal, a story that completely turned my world upside down. It's about trust, betrayal, and the painful discovery that the life you thought you had was all a lie. My wife, Sarah, and we had what I thought was the perfect marriage. We met in college, fell in love fast and hard, and built a beautiful life together over 15 years. We had a cozy home, two amazing kids, and a bond I believed was unbreakable. We were that couple, the one our friends looked up to. We communicated. We laughed. We supported each other's dreams. I was a software developer, and she was a talented graphic designer who had recently started her own freelance business. I was so proud of her, of us. I genuinely believed we had it all. Looking back now, it's chilling to realize how blind I was, how a foundation I thought was solid rock was actually built on sand. The first cracks started to appear so subtly that I barely noticed them. It began with her phone. It used to be left on the counter, on the coffee table, anywhere. Suddenly it was always with her, screen down, or tucked away in her purse. When I'd ask who texted, she'd give a vague answer. Oh, just a client, or spam. I didn't think much of it. Her freelance business was taking off, and I knew she was dealing with new people all the time. Then came the late nights. She started working late at a local coffee shop, saying she needed a change of scenery to be creative. At first, it was once a week, then twice. Soon, it was almost every other night. I missed our evenings together, watching movies or just talking about our day, but I wanted to be a supportive husband. Her career is important, I told myself. This is just a phase. I'd put the kids to bed, make dinner, and wait up for her, often falling asleep on the sofa, only to be woken by her quiet entry long after midnight. The excuses started getting more elaborate. There were networking events I was never invited to, urgent client meetings on weekends, and shopping trips that lasted for hours. Yet she'd come home with only one or two small bags, or sometimes nothing at all. One Saturday, she said she was going to the big outlet mall an hour away to look for a dress for an upcoming wedding. She was gone the entire day. When she got home late that evening, exhausted, I asked if she found anything. She shook her head. No, it was a madhouse. I couldn't find a single thing I liked. She seemed distant, and when I tried to hug her, she stiffened for a second before relaxing. That was the moment a cold, sharp knot of suspicion tightened in my stomach. It wasn't just a feeling anymore. It was a blaring alarm bell I could no longer ignore. Something was very, very wrong. My suspicion grew into an obsession. I started paying closer attention. I noticed how her face would light up when she was texting, a smile that wasn't for me. I noticed the scent of a men's cologne, faint but distinct, on her scarf one evening when she came home from a girls' night. When I asked about it, she laughed it off, saying her friend's husband must have hugged her goodbye. Every explanation felt flimsy, every excuse a little too practiced. The man who trusted his wife implicitly was gone, replaced by someone who analyzed every word, every look, every pause. I felt like I was losing my mind, caught between the terrifying possibility that my wife was cheating and the equally terrifying fear that I was becoming a paranoid, jealous husband for no reason. I needed proof. I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it might hurt. The day I found the truth was a Tuesday. Sarah told me she had a big client lunch, and then she was going shopping for some new work clothes. She kissed me goodbye, a quick, passionless peck on the lips, and left. The unease was suffocating me. I couldn't work, couldn't focus. I remembered that a while back, we'd set up a location sharing app on our phones for safety, for emergencies. We'd honestly forgotten all about it. With a trembling hand, I opened the app. My heart pounded in my chest as I saw her location pin. She wasn't at any restaurant or shopping center. She was at a residential address across town, in a neighborhood I didn't recognize. I clicked on the address, and my world shattered. It was a small, unassuming house. I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity, my mind refusing to process what my eyes were seeing. That knot of suspicion had become a gaping, bleeding wound. There was no more denying it. I drove to the address. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. I parked down the street, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I didn't know what I was going to do. Confront her? Just watch? I just had to see. After about 20 minutes, the front door of the house opened. Sarah walked out, laughing. And she wasn't alone. A man was with her. He put his arm around her waist and pulled her in for a long, deep kiss. It wasn't a friendly goodbye. It was intimate, familiar, the kind of kiss a husband should be getting. I felt the air leave my lungs. The scene played out in slow motion, burning itself into my memory. He whispered something in her ear, and she threw her head back and laughed again, a sound that used to be my favorite music, now a dagger to my heart. I watched as she got into her car and drove away, and he went back inside. I just sat there, in my car, completely numb, unable to move, unable to breathe. The truth wasn't just painful. It was devastating. That evening, when she came home, she was cheerful. She showed me a couple of blouses she'd bought, which I now knew she must have picked up in a panic on the way home. "How was your day, honey?" she asked, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. I couldn't pretend. I just looked at her and said his name. I'd done a quick search on the property records for the address. "Who's Mark?" I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. The color drained from her face. The fake smile vanished, replaced by pure, unadulterated panic. She stammered, tried to deny it, but her eyes told me everything. The dam broke. I confronted her with everything. The location app, seeing them together, the kiss. The lies crumbled, and the whole ugly truth came pouring out. It had been going on for 6 months. He was a former colleague she'd reconnected with. It started as just coffee, but it grew into a full-blown affair. The conversation that followed was the hardest of my life. There were tears, shouting, and long, agonizing silences. She said she felt neglected, that I was always working, that the spark was gone. She said she never meant to hurt me, but every word felt like another betrayal, another excuse to justify her actions. She had a choice. She could have talked to me. She could have suggested counseling. She could have ended our marriage. But instead, she chose to lie, to deceive me, to live a double life while I was at home, loving her, trusting her, raising our children. The betrayal wasn't just the physical act. It was the thousands of little lies, the stolen moments, the shared secrets with another man. It was the complete and utter disrespect for me, for our family, for the 15 years we had built together. We are separated now. The pain is still raw, and some days it feels unbearable. Rebuilding my life from the rubble of my marriage is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. The kids are confused and hurt, and trying to be strong for them is a daily battle. I'm in therapy, trying to process the trauma and understand how to move forward. Trust is a fragile thing, and once it's shattered, I don't know if it can ever be truly pieced back together. My perfect life was an illusion, and waking up from that dream has been a nightmare. But I'm a survivor, and I know one day I will heal. I will find a new kind of happiness, one that is built on a foundation of honesty and self-respect. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it's heavy, but sharing it is part of my healing process. If you're going through something similar, please know you are not alone. And if you're struggling with your mental health through a crisis like this, please reach out and get help. It truly makes a difference. If this story resonated with you, I'd appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Take care of yourselves.